Welcome back, Fortune Cookie Maniacs. In this video, we are going to be talking about Sarah Ferguson and the House of York. We will be right back. Welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. We are looking at the House of York and trying to divine if the house itself is cursed or if the most recent people holding the title have created some bad mojo there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into it because we are looking at Fergie, Duchess of York, formerly. So I do want to clarify something here. So Andrew, he's no longer a prince. He's no longer the Duke of York. But Fergie had used the title as well up until recently. Like, people are still referring to her that. Apparently, she ceased using it in October of 2025. And so now she just uses Sarah Ferguson. Beatrice and Eugenie, of course, retain their birth titles as princesses. Neither are working royals. Neither is Sarah or Andrew, for that matter. So we've got a whole selection of non-working Yorks. So let's take a look at Sarah Ferguson. I liked her when she first came on the scene. I thought she was a little bit wild, decidedly American. She seemed very American to me. I was like, oh, if she went to university in America, she would have done great. She is, her natal chart, she's a Libra, October 15th, 1959 at 9:03 a.m. That was a highly rated time for her time of birth as well. Libra sun, Aries moon, Scorpio rising. That's probably why her and Andrew connected so well. The Libra sun gives her charm, the ability to mediate as well. Public likability. I just said I liked her so much when she first came on the scene. But she does have a tendency to define herself through partnerships. So she's one of those people, and we all know people like this, where they shapeshift every time they date someone. My mom said this about me when I was in school. She was like, every time Anna gets a boyfriend, I have to buy her a whole new wardrobe. It wasn't true. She just had to buy me a new wardrobe because I was a girl. But so Sarah's one of those people that is going to adjust her outward facing personality and her look based on the partnership that she's with. Something really to keep in mind here. The Aries moon is going to give her emotional impulsiveness, some up and down. She's also a redhead. They are very fiery. Gives her also a lot of resilience, a great deal of candor. That Aries moon sometimes has people speaking in emotional terms a little too loudly, a little too clearly. So sometimes they can be a little too frank in their verbal explanations. You know, oh, that skirt doesn't even make you look fat. So she also, the Aries moon's also going to give her a need to act independently. So even though she defines herself through partnership with that Libra sun and can kind of shapeshift into the ideal partner for the person that she's with, that Aries moon gives her this internal need to act independently. So that can be kind of conflicting when you're in a relationship and a primary personal relationship. And it probably causes some conflict when she is involved with someone. The Scorpio rising gives her great survival instincts, great defensive instincts as well. Also, the ability to reinvent herself is there. There's a lot of intensity, but also secrecy. So when you get in with a Scorpio rising, they can kind of overwhelm you, but then don't tell anybody about it. So the Scorpio rising also gives an ability to rise after scandal, which I do think that we've seen her do. Let me know in the comments if you think that she has been pretty good about, phoenixing after the scandal. So she does present herself as independent and indestructible, but she does remain emotionally and she has remained emotionally, symbolically, and materially tied to that York identity. So looking at her next 10 years, we've got 4 acts here. 26 to 28, 2026 to 2028 is emotional and physical conservation. So she is coming out of a health crisis in the last few years. Saturn is going to be moving across her Aries moon, and it asks her to behave with some maturity, have some good guardrails on your world, rest, and have a more disciplined emotional life. In some aspects, what we can do in these kinds of circumstances is eliminate some of the things that are emotionally draining for us. So that is something that I think I would tell Sarah to do if she was consulting with me. I would tell her to limit the things that are really emotionally disruptive to her. Start to pull those things back. I hate to say just do the things that you like and stay around the people that you like, but really she should do that. Neptune near the moon can also heighten compassion and intuition, but it blurs boundaries. So I think she has to be very, very careful as she is underwriting these relationships and elements in her emotional life. And getting rid of the ones that are far too taxing. She may feel compassion or empathetic towards someone. She may intuitively feel the troubles that they're going through, but it's going to blur the boundary. So it's going to create circumstances that may increase her exhaustion, increase the draw on her nervous system, her emotions, and her emotional resources. So also this kind of configuration in her chart can encourage some rescue fantasies. So she may think there's a knight in shining armor coming to her rescue, or that maybe they're all going to kind of rise up. Remember what I said, the House of York has produced kings. So looking at her health, so I do feel strongly that she needs to follow up on her medical advice. Her more so than the malady that she had, the amount of stress that's on her system is what she really needs to be looking at. She needs trustworthy advice. Sarah, call me. And refuse to appear busy so that you don't have to deal with things. Don't do that. Sometimes when we have a lot of stuff going on, we go into these manic phases and we're like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. I have all of these circumstances that I have to take care of it. And she will have a tendency to do that. And I'm just a little bit worried that she's going to stick her head in the sand on the important things and focus on the dramatic and fun things. Not that drama is fun, but the dramatic and energetic things, so that she doesn't have to really deal with the real things. So, stress and cancers do not go well together. So strongly urge her to be really smart about where she spends her energy. 2028 to 2031, we have renewal for her. So there may be new terms in her life. She may find that she has a different voice or starts speaking with a different voice, different narrative, not like her voice is going to change. Uranus and Gemini is going to support that Libra sun. So it's going to be opportunities to write, to communicate, in a less royal dependent identity. This concerns me because I'm a little worried that she is going to write the tell-all, or she's going to write some manner of tell-all. The tell-all should be about her recovery from cancer, her malady. It shouldn't be about her recovery from the royal family. So I think she has to be very discerning about what she chooses to promote and write. And certainly she needs to be very, very careful about trotting on her daughter's privacy or their legacy. She cannot defend the indefensible. She has to, if she never, ever, ever should she say a kind word about Jeffrey Epstein again, she's got to not do that. Also, I think she really has to take a step back from Andrew and create some real hard guardrails on her life with him, which is over, and her life moving into the future. This period from 2028 to 2031 is going to require that she have a real sense of sobriety about this and really look at the reality of her situation very, very clearly. I would say get some really strong players in there for advisors as well. 2031 to 2034 is a period in which she can go into really deep reinvention. There's Pluto in Aquarius, and that starts a hard angle to her Scorpio ascendant. So it's going to transform her home, family power dynamics, and her public identity. So she may choose between preserving this old family arrangement, but still become a psychologically separate person. So this is the strongest, like leaving that York business behind. And it's the biggest one for this part of the next 10 years for her. 2034 to 2036, again, we get this author, an elder, kind of someone who is speaking with authority. It's almost the the backstair kind of perspective. And I do think that she may present herself at this period from 2034 to 2036 as someone who is never fully integrated into the royal family, that was deigned to be there and not celebrated as being there. She was never really initiated into the royal family. She can emerge as a resilient elder with a really cool story about survival, but at what cost? Is it at the cost of her daughters? I wonder about that. So drop some questions down below if you want me to answer them in another reading. But who is Sarah without the York title? Let's bring up the cards and take a look. Who is she without the York title? I'm going to do more than one card for this. So 6 of Wands. Without the York title, she is like frivolous and vapid, but she's super fun. And that is really like, she would have been like a great like party planner or coach or something. Like, she would have been really great at that. She's great at having fun. Get together with Catherine Middleton's mom, and Catherine Middleton, the Princess of Wales. Trying to say her mother's name. Carol Middleton was what I was trying to say. Get together with Carol Middleton. We had party pieces here in one of our stores, and I bought the shark stuff for my son. It was very, very high quality. I was very impressed with it. But Sarah is good at having fun. She is good at, overdoing it, drinking too much champagne, getting others to drink too much champagne. That is really where she fits well. So I wonder, she winds up going down to Portugal and maybe selling timeshares or something. That I know it sounds terrible, but it is something that she's really good at. She's really good at getting people to say, I'll spend $20,000 on a purse. I don't need it. you know. So, what's the emotional tie to Andrew? Or what emotional tie to Andrew is still governing some of her choices? Oh, you know what, guys? I really do think that they got on very well. I think that they were probably a very, very fun couple to be around. The emotional tie to Andrew, I think she still feels a little bit for him. I mean, she was going to run around, but I think she still feels a little bit for him. I think she still remembers like seeing him, and, you know, he's so handsome and so cute. And I think that in her head, you know, it all could have been different if not for a couple of choices. So what does she have to stop rescuing or defending? It's all out there. We know all the information's out there. It's Andrew's bad behavior and the Jeffrey Epstein thing. What does her body and spirit need right now? Page of Swords. She needs to go on her own and get out of the arguments. They don't want her there. You can't force yourself into a party nobody wants yet. So I think, you know, retirement from that whole world, I think, is really ideal for her. Just retire from it. Retire from it. I do think she's going to live with one of the girls eventually. I do think she's going to do that. Are we going to get a book? I think we're going to get a book that's going to be very craftily written. And I do think she's either shopping or has landed on a co-writer. You're going to have to really read between the lines on this one to see that she is going to point a finger at that British royal family, not Andrew, British royal family. You guys were not nice. She's going to do that, but you're going to have to read between the lines to find it. So and again, like we're talking about the energy right now, I do think she is keen on writing the book. How can she best support her daughters right now? This is for Beatrice, Hangman, and Eugenie. So I do think that both of them have been named or have their names on some investments that are complicated. And I think she needs to fess up to that. If there's missing money, and I do think that there's missing money, I think she needs to disclose to them what happened to it. So if their names were attached, they have to say, what the dealio? Where's the money? Where's the money? What identity is available to Sarah Ferguson in 2036 based on the energy right here? So what does she become in Ace of Swords, a whole new world. And that Seven of Swords does not say anything good. Remember, our swords are also our speakers. They also like to say things. She is absolutely going to, right now, the energy in place, she is going to write a book. She is going to tear down the royal family between the lines, guys. And it's going to be, they never accepted me as an official member of the royal family. How could they do that? They were my only family. I had to give everything else up, blah, 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 blah. We've heard it all before. Let's ask the Lenormand some questions here. So for her, did she erase herself in order to be with Andrew? The star. He was the star. She was okay with it at the time because she thought that her children would be her legacy. She never expected all of this intrigue. And I do think that this intrigue here is Diana, because remember, they were supposed to both file for divorce at the same time, and Diana failed to do it at the same time. So it wasn't the bing, bang, boom. It wasn't the bing, bada, boom that we expected. So what is the wisest way for her to handle this book? What is the wisest way for her to handle this book? She needs to grow up from the child to the man. And she needs to take inventory about what her life is right now. If today is not the darkest day, you don't need to do this book. That is something that she has to do on her darkest day. She needs to be a little bit more grateful. So can she tell this survival story without exploiting the royal family? Star again. The birds. So if she tells this story like a chambermaid who saw some things, that will be a much better position for her. Would that be a hit? That fish card says yes. The whip, it'll be more of like a Mommy Dearest book. Mommy Dearest, I have it up on my shelf. It was a hit piece. Christina Crawford. It was a hit piece. So we'll leave her there for now. Sarah's chart doesn't ask her to, stop loving anyone or, block people, block and delete people. It just asks her to stop confusing love with permanent entanglement and responsibility. So in part 4, we're going to look at Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie and see how all the scrutiny and drama and intrigue and craziness that's gone on in the House of York, how it affects them and what they can do moving into the future to navigate that a little bit better. So I hope you'll join us in part 4. General audience, this is the last video you get. There's going to be a part 5 for my membership. So if you want to become a member, there is a link in the description of this video. More than happy to have you in there. All of the memberships get early videos and they get all of the exclusive content. So I will see you guys in the next one where we look at the princesses. Thanks for now.